So, good day. Welcome to NVL's webinar on basic skills and motivation, best practices from the Nordics. Today we are streaming from Reykjavik. I am Valgerður Guðjónsdóttir, specialist at the Education and Training Service Center in Iceland, and with me is Hildur Oddsdóttir, a project manager for the education for the city of Reykjavik. This webinar is being recorded and will be put on our YouTube channel. The first initiative for a network in the field of basic skills for adults appeared in 2015 and has addressed digital skills. Basic proficiency in digital skills is something that every adult needs to have in order to be able to actively participate in professional life and society. And today, digital skills have great significance in all the Nordic countries.
The Basic Skills Network has published 10 articles, and today we will hear a presentation on the article from Denmark. The original name of the article in English is "Now Maybe Soon is the Turn for People with Short Schooling Within the System." Here, Janni Glæsel and Birthe V Samuelsen from the North Zealand Recruitment Service in Denmark will present and discuss how we can possibly reach people who need to acquire increased basic skills. And I think we will hear some examples from Denmark. After the presentation, we will open for comments and questions. But of course, you can always write comments in the chat while they present. So, Janni and Birthe, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Janni Glæsel, and I am the project manager of this project, getting the first qualification in becoming a skilled worker. Do you see the PowerPoint?
I will share it now.
You will share it now, okay. But by my side, I have Birthe, and Birthe is with me today because my English is not the very best, so I have asked Birthe to do this presentation for me in English instead. But I'm beside, so I can get you answer for your questions.
Yes, hello everybody, and thank you for the invitation. My voice is a bit rusty today, but I hope you can understand us. We're going to tell you about our project in the northern part of Zealand with getting the first qualifications to become a skilled worker. We got the impression that most of you were from Iceland, so we Google Translate a few keywords, but for all of you from other countries, it's just leave it. Can we have the next one, please? First, the organization of our project. We come from a very small team called NRS, North Zealand's Rekrutteringsservice, and it's a cross-municipal partnership in recruiting qualified labor. Our job is to ensure that companies in the northern part of Greater Copenhagen have sufficient qualified labor. And the project, the time span was, we started out the 1st of January in 21, and the project, well, what we know so far is going to end in the end of April next year. Maybe we got some more financing, but we don't know yet. We are financed by the Danish Agency of the Labor Market and Recruitment. And in this project, and I guess like in all other projects, we have a board. It's the CEOs of the 9 job centers that, you know, they set the task for for the project and our work, and they have to make sure that there's a good participant and good communication in each job center. So there's 9 municipals, and maybe if you don't know the Danish geography, I should tell you that the northern part of Zealand is a region spread from the northern suburbs of Copenhagen to the coastal areas, about 1 hour drive from Copenhagen. So it's both like urban and kind of rural areas in a Danish context at least. So the next one, please. The background for the project, or why did we start at all? Well, it's because the Danish labor market is in a huge lack for skilled workers. And here, as anywhere else, globalization and the technical development require higher and higher skills. It's especially in construction and industry and all other technical areas, and in welfare and elder care especially. In Denmark, we have 10 years of mandatory education, and from 2006, it has been mandatory to take the final exam, but still about 10% don't pass the final exam. That means that there's quite a few adults, and young adults as well, that do not have a valid exam certificate from grammar school. And it's a problem because since 2015, a valid exam certificate is needed in order to be accepted in a technical or industrial school or any other further education. So we need basic skills to, and we need paper on our basic skills to get anywhere further in the educational system. But beside that, about 1 out of 6 to 7 adults, they are so bad in reading, writing, and calculating that it's a problem in their daily life. And the next one, please. We have put in 3 questions on the way that's like kind of central in our project. And we use Iceland, but it could be, anywhere else. So how many adults in Iceland do experience that insufficient general qualifications are a serious obstacle in work, education, or daily life? We have learned from the PIAC survey that Denmark should be like the lowest number, quite low in the Nordic countries, not the lowest one in the world, but in a Nordic context, we are quite low.
Yeah. So this is just a question that give it a thought, and maybe we can talk about this later.
Well, the broad terms for our project, you can say that we have 2 tracks and a starter, and actually the 2 tracks comes first. In the project, we have to establish locally based, intensive and flexible education offer in what we in Danish call forberedende voksenundervisning, or in English, preparatory adult education. So getting a education offer, and then we have to train our colleagues in the job centers to identify and motivate citizens to join and follow the education. And when those 2 things were done, then the next step is to get the participants to take a test or a screening to determine where to start before they start education. So the next one, please. The education is, the preparatory adult education is blue here. You have a start, which is mainly for immigrants that do not have Danish as their mother tongue. And then we have 4 steps. The orange to yellow and green is the ordinary educational system in Denmark. And we have 9th and 10th grade in grammar school, they are green. And then we have the yellow and orange, and it's a gymnasium level where A level is the highest. It's international, not standards, but what do you call it? We have those 4 steps in preparatory adult education in Danish. In math, we have only 2 steps, and then there's an offer in English as well and in digital. But those 2 offers are only for people who have a job. And since Janni and I, we work with unemployed, it's not part of the offer or our offer to the unemployed. So we start with a screening, and it's mandatory. It will provide us with the appropriate level to start, and it will reveal dyslexia as well. So if we have people with dyslexia who want to participate, they have to start with a dyslexia course, learning to use the tools if they don't know that already. One level has 72 lessons, and I think we'll go.
And then they can go to an examen.
Yeah, and then the next one, please. Maybe I should say just a little bit more. So one level is 72 lessons, and then a test. If they don't pass, they can take it over again. So it differs quite a lot how long time our adult unemployed are spending on in the education offer. But first, I'll tell a bit about how we organized it. We were planning the education offer to be placed in 4 different locations in our region, so that transportation wouldn't be an issue. We've had some struggles with getting enough participants. So up to now, we have only education offer in the center of the Northern Zealand, where everybody can go, but it will take maybe up to 3/4 of an hour. The education offer is intensive, and the student have to show up 5 days a week if they have both Danish, if they have signed up for both Danish and math. Only 3 days if they take one of them. And there's a new start every 6 weeks. So one step is 6 weeks, and it means that a student quite quickly can get their exam and join the technical industrial school, or finally become part of the skilled workforce. I think that's it.
That's it.
No, maybe we should tell, because of course you don't know the Danish context, but usually if you can sign up in evening school for a preparatory adult education, but then you'll only attend once a week. So it might take you half a year to take one step. And it can be a very, very long way if you want to be electrician, or you want to get an education in elder care or whatever. So that's why we make it intensive. And then the next one, please. As I told, so far we haven't had enough participants to use our 4 locations. So transportation is quite a big issue. And I guess many of you who are from, countries with an even more difficult geography than we are, you must experience the same challenges. And we can say, and I'll turn back to it when we talk about COVID-19 as well, because online education is not an issue here. They are not.
It's difficult.
It's difficult. and gives like an extra struggle. So any comments to the geography and where to or the locations of the education offer? No. Well, then the next one, please. As I said before, helping our colleagues in each job center is a very important part of the project. Each job center, they have a local project manager whose job is mainly the communication and where is the next screening going on, when is the next education offer starting, and so forth. We in North Sjálands Rekrutteringsservice participate in teams and department meetings in each job center, giving speeches or mainly facilitate discussions where topics can be like background for the project, the law issues that helps us or on the contradiction that work against us. We talk about profiles, who can participate and who can get the benefit of the education. And then we try to help in the big question about how to talk with unemployed about difficult issues. Another issue is learning the procedures of signing up for screening and education. It took us quite a while, but I think we're there now. I mean, it's not that difficult. And then Janni works with developing web pages and small videos of as inspiration for both colleagues and potential students. So it's part of the project as well.
Yeah. What's their benefit? So
yeah. Then the next one, please. We had a difficult start. There were some challenges we knew about before we started. There's a priority. New qualifications require a professional language, at least to a certain level. First of all, our colleagues have to acknowledge that they have to talk about something they were not used to talk about in their in their interviews with the unemployed. And it is a difficult interview. The challenge of our colleagues in order to master this interview is to motivate citizens in working with basic skills, reading, writing, and math, and recognizing the feeling for them of risking becoming a failure, because most of the participants we wanted in the project, they haven't had any success in the grammar school. And then the law is kind of not really working with us either, because all the students, they have to apply for jobs, at least 2 jobs per week, and it's part of being unemployed in Denmark and the laws you are under. So the next one, please. There was also some challenges that we did not know about, like the business cycle. The unemployment rate is very low, and the politics in Denmark is always job first. Here we have the latest number is from January this year, and the unemployment rate is about 2.5%.
I think it's even lower now.
Yeah, I think it's a bit lower now. Yeah. Maybe in our area, it might be around 2%.
Yeah.
And then we had COVID-19 coming, and online screening and teaching does not work for this group. So it was a huge delay in the beginning of the project. Yeah. And next one, please. So our provisional results is that we have had too few participants. There's not enough in the target group to get a screening. Maybe because our colleagues in the job centers still do not see them or do not motivate them, or maybe because they get a job. It's a bit difficult for us to really know exactly. And some of them who got a screening and plan to start, they get a job instead, so they have to take the job. But the participants, when they show up, they are happy. They got new skills and they got self-confidence. They experience success in school for maybe the first time in their life. And quite a few of them have started technical industrial school, and more are on their way. So there's like a very good and motivating, I could say, atmosphere in the classroom, but the classroom is not big enough.
Filled up.
It's not filled up.
No.
Our colleagues, they're slowly getting more curious to learn more. And some of the tricks Janni have been using is to get a screening, that they get a screening themselves, so they know more about what to offer to the unemployed, and then learn them in each 9 job center to screen the citizens themselves. So the students don't have to come here to the center, to Hillerød, before they have to start school. So despite all the challenges, we think the project have been worth it. And before our project, very, very few both students with a Danish grammar school and immigrants were, if they were not good enough at Danish or math, they wouldn't start an education as adults. But now they are starting slowly, but steady going on.
Yeah.
So it was actually the words.
No, it was not.
It was not.
No, it was not. Because if you would like to see more, for example, the videos, you can go into our website and see the videos. Of course, they are in Danish, but it shows how much this education means for them, as we said earlier. And also, I think that the job with our colleagues, it has been more difficult than I expected, because everybody expects that you can read and write and do math. So to be aware of that this is not everyone who has the skills. I think it has been a more difficult job than I expected. And the next one.
Yes, the next one, please. The final one. Importantly, there's a big need in Denmark to improve the general basic skills among 10 to 15% of the adult population. We have not figured out yet how to motivate either our colleagues in the job centers, nor the forthcoming students. Well, we have some ideas, but we haven't got it all yet. So if any of our Nordic neighbors have an idea, please send us an email. And that's all from here.
Yeah, that's all from here. So
thank you for your patience. And if there's a question, we would like to answer it.
If we can.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both for this presentation. Has anyone questions for them? We can open for questions now. There is a question in the chat.
Can you see the chat?
We can't see the chat.
I can read it for you.
Yeah.
I have a question about preparatory education for adults, course in digital skills. Is there any common Danish study plan/curriculum for adults in digital skills, showing descriptions of themes, etc., that they are taught? If so, where can one find the study plan? And that question is from Mariam.
So,
unfortunately, we are not working with the preparatory adult education in digital skills. But my best guess would be go to the Minister of Education, and they'll have a plan.
Yeah.
Their website is 100% in Danish.
Yeah. But I don't think there's a
like a curriculum.
No, I don't think so. I can see Michael is with us. Andersen, do you know that, Michael?
No, I don't think I can help you with that question, because we, of course, we have some a structure and aims for FVU digital. But if you are asking about more detailed plans for the teaching, I think you should go to some of the providers of FVU digital. Maybe I can't give you an address right now, but there are a lot of providers that have FVU digital, so it should be possible to talk with them. Thank you.
I have one question for you. You mentioned that online courses don't work for this target group. Why do you think online courses don't work, Janni and Birthe?
Because it demands that you do have the digital skills to do that, and it demands that you have a PC.
The equipment as well.
Yeah. So I think it's quite difficult, but of course, in some places in Denmark, we know that they use online education in this, but not in the lowest level, because in the lowest level you do not practice Danish very well. So it has to be on the highest level you can do it. But for us, it has always also it means something that they are in a class, because we can hear the students say, "Oh, for the first time, I meet someone who has the same difficulties as I have. I'm not the only one in the world who have these difficulties." So being together in a classroom, it gives them quite a lot of friendship, and they help each other very much. Yeah.
But you said that this is like 72 lessons.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of those lessons, they take a test.
Yes.
That is mandatory, I presume.
Well, it is mandatory if you have to take the test as at the Danish level 4, because before you can get accepted at a technical school. So it is mandatory in that way, and it is mandatory as well if you want to, take the next step. You have to take it.
Yeah, but you said if they don't pass, they can take it again. How often can they take it?
Well, we start every 6 weeks, and then they can start on the next level. Well, you just can't go on and on. You have to follow the education, be there. If you don't meet, if you don't come to the lessons, you will not be allowed to go more than one time.
Okay.
The teachers have to see it. You will probably success with the examination next time.
Mm-hmm. But
you have experienced somebody who took the same level 3 times, right?
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
But
Yeah.
don't you feel that at least some of those have like anxiety or fear from taking tests?
Yeah, they do. Of course, they are nervous. Of course they are. Yeah, but in the classroom they work with the old examen.
Yeah, like the former tests. So they're really well prepared, both in like qualifications and the mental level as well. It's because it is, as you said, Hildur, quite a big issue. If you haven't been part of the schooling system since you were 15, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you also said that they have to apply for at least 2 jobs a week.
Yeah.
And if they get a job, they drop out.
Yeah, they have to stop and start work.
I mean, then they lose their chance of being there.
I mean, there is an option that they can continue in the evening class and getting, this very slowly one evening a week, and maybe some do that, but we don't know. We can't follow like the students when they're not unemployed anymore. But you're right. It might seems like a bit waste if you get in. Starting to get new skills and you are in really good progress, and then you get stopped by a job. But we're not making the laws.
No, I know.
We have a question from Kirsten in the chat. I don't know if you want to take that now. Okay.
No.
She says, thank you very much for your insights. I am interested in how you got in touch with the job centers. From my experience, it is quite difficult.
Yeah.
But they pay our salary, so.
Yeah, we're part of 9 job centers, so that's why they can't resist our invitation.
We have a system in most of Denmark, I guess, that we have this cross-municipally
cooperation.
Yeah, cooperation in the job centers, because the job centers are quite small. So if we have to make courses, educations, or we have to find qualified labor for big companies, we have to work together. So we are already part of the job centers. But we know from everybody else, Kerstin, that it's difficult to get in touch with job centers.
Yeah.
That's very strange, I think. Yeah, so now you are trying to figure out how to motivate your colleagues and students. I mean, you're getting too few students. Did I understand that right?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And of course, COVID and the very high job level means that there's not very many unemployed right now.
No. Yeah.
But what we really want is to, instead of just being a project, is that it would be, part of the ordinary schooling system, that there would be this offer for adults at any time who need the basic qualifications before they can continue to become skilled workers. And it's, of course, it's our goal in the long term.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a natural part of the communication from the job center and the citizen to talk about, do you have the qualifications to get into a course or start an education if you have to do something else in the rest of your work life? Do you have the skills so that you can take a course or maybe start another education? So it has to be a grounded thing for the job center workers to have this thought in mind when they talk with the citizens.
Okay. Has anyone other questions before we end this webinar?
I just want to say that there's another comment in the chat here from Jørn, who says that general questions about the Danish FVU program can also be sent to my colleagues at the Ministry of Children and Education in Denmark. And then there is an email address in the chat if you would like to copy and paste that somewhere else now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Janni and Birthe, for this very interesting presentation. This presentation will, of course, be on our YouTube channel, and we can send information to the participants when that is ready. If there are no other questions, I think that we will end this webinar today. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you find this as much interesting as we did.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.